Three, two, one.
Hey everybody, welcome to IFB, Interfleet Broadcasting. It's our pop culture sci-fi entertainment channel brought to you by the two guys that grew up watching all that 70s and 80s TV movies, cartoons, and all the other great sci-fi fantasies out there. I'm New York Pete, and this is my buddy Chris the Tipsy Toaster. So, hey Tipsy, why don't you say hello?
Hello, everybody. I'm just sitting there making sure everything is up and running. I had to make sure we had YouTube on and Twitch and Twitch, YouTube, yes. Facebook, Twitter, Baltar's bathroom, everywhere else.
Okay. All right.
We're working on it.
Everything is cooking. Hi,
Yep.
Fran. Hi, Lola. Hi, Chris. Razor Ramon is with us. Very cool. Got our usual suspects. And Chris Laskowski from Down Under in Australia. Hello. Thanks for joining us, buddy. And thank everybody up front for joining us in the rerun world and syndication. So we're going to get thousands of views later on. Brigitte from Austria. Hey, thank you for joining us live. So we are now officially all over the world.
International.
Right? International. That's right. So for all our fans in the Philippines and Vietnam and Canada and South America and in Greece and everywhere else,
And
welcome
Chris
to the show.
and
Thank you.
don't forget Mr. Laskowski. He's in
I know I just mentioned
Australia. Did I miss that?
Yes,
I'm sorry. I was reading.
You were reading, yes. Stop reading the Cylon manual and pay attention to when I'm speaking.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I've never said that before. That sounded good. I'm going to keep saying that every show. I'm going to say that.
Pardon me, as Cylon people don't pay attention to you,
Oh,
colonial
Jason.
scum.
Thanks for joining. Yes, it's okay. Stop. Jason, hello from California. Hello from here, IFB, floating around up in space. We're now docking into our favorite area or sector, and that is here at IFB, right around Terra. And welcome to the show, guys. Welcome, everybody. We have a special guest tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Von Babasin, I'm sorry. Mr. Von Babasin.
I'm sure he's gotten it messed up before, so.
Yeah. Chris
Although, wait a minute, he just hung up. Oh, we're screwed. Okay, never mind.
We were practicing. We've been practicing, so yeah. He got so mad that I made him. I'm sorry, Vaughn. My mistake. But anyway, bottom line is that we are honored and we are looking forward to having him tell us all about his background. And you know what, guys? He actually worked on Battlestar Galactica, Classic, Buck Rogers, The Thing. I mean, a whole bunch. Jaws 2. We're currently working on projects as well. We're going to have him on. He's going to tell us all about all kinds of great, cool stuff that he did. And, he's with us. But we also have Tiny Bean Tara is going to come on and give us her take on various shows that are currently on, as usual. And, Chris, before we just get into that, mediocre modelers, Cylons are people too, but just barely. Agreed.
So, I see how it is.
Yes, that's how it is. Mediocre modeler, thanks for joining us live. Those
talking about the guy who just almost blew up his house with his
with the
acetone bath.
He knows what he's doing, and you may not. So be careful.
Well, as long as you keep the Tylium right next to the gasoline out in the shed, that's fine.
Mediocre modeler, I have faith in you, sir. You go back and you make another one of those props, buddy, and just keep at it. So for those of you that are not familiar, Mediocre modeler has his own channel. He's or station, but program, and he's on YouTube and Facebook and others. So check out his streaming, and his videos are really, really cool, making all kinds of cool stuff. We're gonna catch up and hook up with him at some point in the future. Are they currently planning a prequel to the original BSG? Well, you know what, Jason? I can tell you that the Tipsy Toaster Productions is
We gotta do that right. Hang
working
on.
on.
That's
He's working on something.
Tipsy Toaster Productions.
Yeah,
Brought to
he's
you
got-
by Tipsy Toaster Productions.
Yeah, he's got something up his sleeve. He's working on something. But we're still waiting on Galactica, man. I don't know. There is this coming
And we
out of
reached out to a number of them. They don't want to talk.
Yeah.
So,
They don't want to talk, so we don't know.
but I bet if we were Star Wars or Star Trek, we would just no problem.
Yeah, it would be all over the place. But I don't know. Lola says, and he cooks stuff. Yes, that's just true. He cooks stuff. However, you know what, guys? Let's Chris, let's toast, man. Let's toast to the fans as we usually do, and then let's bring on Tiny Bean. She's ready to go, and I think she's set up on one of our other live broadcast lines, correct? And is that set?
She's set.
Okay, good. So that's ready, and then as soon as we have Tiny Bean wrap up her segment, we're gonna bring on Mr. Von Babasin, and you guys are in for a treat, man. This guy is so cool. I've been reading up on him. I've been listening to some of the past interviews he's been given, and man, trust me, you guys can have some fun with this. So, without further ado, tonight I need to thank our sponsors that bought us our drinks, and that is Brigitte from Austria. Thank you. Fran Severin, author and fellow panelist at AwesomeCon coming up. Thank you, Fran. And as a matter of fact, I bought your book, Fran. So as soon as I get it, I'm going to show it on our program here. And David Alexander, thank you very much for treating us to our drinks tonight. I, of course, am doing cider.
What kind of cider are we doing, Pete?
It's called Tommy Rod of the Hudson Valley Hard Apple Cider. There you go. Check that out. There we go.
More apple juice.
It says Red Spirit. They wrote it in permanent ink marker.
That's class there, buddy.
It's a small operation, bro.
I'm surprised you're using cans, not paper cups.
Well, let me tell you something, my friend. I need to also mention someone else that is now part of our team, Tipsy, and that is Chris Marshall.
Yes,
has officially joined IFB. He is going to be in charge of leading our CG for Interfleet Broadcasting. You guys in our opening of the broadcast, you see that all that space stuff and the Battlestar and our ship, Comtel and all that, and then we fly inside. That's all courtesy of Chris Marshall and Chuck Davenport. Chris has confirmed that he's now on board, and so we will have him come on at some point and do a little quick interview and joining the team type of thing. So yes, Hard Cider will sneak up on you, LOL. That's from Razor Ramon. He knows what he's talking about. So Tipsy, you need to just
it sneaks up to you so you go to the bathroom.
Paul Roeder is on. It's so far out. Yes, my friend, it is. Thank you for joining us. Paul Roeder is, of course, the well-known Commander Kane from the classic BSG cosplayer, and he's also founder of many different groups. He's involved in just about I think he's involved in every single Battlestar group that's out there. And so thank you so much, sir, from the Colonial Warriors. That's one of your founding groups that you have on Facebook. Thank you for joining us from the West Coast, and really appreciate your support. And I'm
you
ready.
Thirsty yet, Pete? Thank God.
Yeah, I am.
All right, tonight I am doing. I love my stouts.
What is this?
This is Obsidian Stout. It is from the left coast, from Oregon. So
and it sounds obsidian. It sounds like rocks.
It's probably chewy beer. I kind of like my beer chewy, so there's nothing wrong with a good chewy beer. So this is definitely a stout. Boy. So it's by Deschutes Brewery. Explore this bold stout's notes of espresso and dark chocolate to experience an award-winning ale of the ages.
Ooh.
Sounds ominous.
Yeah.
All right, so you ready? I am.
Jason says, "How about some ambrosia?" We're gonna work on that. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is good.
Oh yeah. Ready?
Can you hear that? Yeah.
Oh.
Come on.
You gotta get close to the microphone, man.
Oh, come on. Everybody can hear it.
This stuff's dark. You can't see through this.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
This is so dark, though. The foam on the top is almost black.
Oh, boy. Does it have pebbles in it? Is it like rock hard?
No, not quite rock hard yet.
No, not like obsidian hard. Ready?
Yep. So, anyways, we thank you, everybody, for coming on. As we always say, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. Well, we would be here. If it wasn't for you, there would be no fandom. We'd still be here talking dead air just for fun of it. Sooner or later, somebody would come on and talk to us. But we'd have fun talking with everybody else. So, anyways, we do appreciate the fans. The fans, as we always say, do fuel the fandom. So we say fans fuel the fleet. So this is always to all of the fans out there, the continuous put the fandoms on the map. The Jaws, for instance, the Thing, Battlestar Galactica, all of those things are brought to you by fans who really fuel those fandoms. So fans fuel the fleet, this is for you.
Cheers, everybody. Oh, wow. That taste, that is not, this is something that's very dry.
Hang on.
You would like this. Yeah. Is that like eating the 40-year-old gum that you had?
I think this has, this has got a crap load of espresso in it.
You've never, ever, that reaction, you've never had that.
This has definitely got an espresso taste.
2 years of doing this show, and you've never had that expression on. That is good. That is a good stout.
Yeah, that's a. Yeah, if you like coffee and espresso, this has got the espresso taste.
Wow. Paul Roeder says, "I shall monitor your colonial transmissions." I think we're going to need that because, Sean's on.
Yeah.
Sean Shallow just stopped by to say hello. Movie about to start, Doctor Strange 2. Have a great show. I'll watch the rerun. Sean, thank you very much from Battlestar Bulletin Board. Appreciate the support. Enjoy the movie and let us know how that goes. And then we're going to have you back on the show eventually, okay? Thanks, buddy. Tipsy beer is so dark it could be called a Sith beer. It is revenge of the
Revenge of the Obsidian Stout.
Fifth, after all. That's right. Razor Ramon says, Chris, can you try a 10% IPA next time? Yeah.
Do they make a 10% IPA? Really?
Hey, okay, so you know what? I'm going to read you one last one here. Jason says, I had the pleasure of attending Galacticon in Houston many years ago. Both the original cast and reimagined series folks were there. Loved it. 100%. Jason, we're going to be bringing and talking about that. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So that's great to know. In the meantime,
that's worthy of a Jar Jar.
May the fifth fleet be with us. That's right. Very good, Paul.
Jar Jar.
All right.
That's a Jar Jar.
All right, stop that. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, I think it's, hey, Carl, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. It's time for Tiny Bean Tara's Corner of the Universe. And Tara, what's going on?
We have audio now.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah. So what's going on? I mean, you were at Galaxy's Edge. You were all over now you're back.
All over the place, man. And I feel like, first of all, it's great to be back. But holy cow, I feel like I'm gone for a bit, and all of a sudden everything just exploded in the world of pop culture, new stuff, all kinds of things. So I have tons of stuff to talk about tonight. So I'm going to plow right through. Now,
let her rip.
Some of you may know already, but tonight drops Strange New Worlds on Paramount Plus.
I saw it.
And you did.
Yep, I saw it too. I saw it too. Ha.
Don't, you guys, man.
Isn't it weird how they kill him at the end?
Stop! You don't know what you're talking about. We all know it. We know Captain Pike's fate. Stop that. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So what's the good watching the show? We already know how he dies. Okay.
Oh, stop.
Well, listen, next time I am on, I definitely want to play catch up talking about that also. I know ways back we talked about The Staircase coming to HBO Max. That also drops today, so I will catch up on that before my next time back. And we also have to talk next time about the final season finale of Picard. A little divisive in the fandom world, I see.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I figured
I'm like 5 episodes back.
Yeah, so we'll give everybody a chance to catch up, and we'll hit those next time. It's gonna be a lot to unpack there. But for tonight, let me start with save the date reminder, May 27th. Take out your calendars on your iPhones, highlight the date, because that's the day that we get a ton of things that we've been following in Tiny Bean's Corner, including Stranger Things Season 4, finally. Obi-Wan series also drops that day, and Top Gun Maverick in theaters. Check out all the trailers, guys. I'll add links to the website. Pete, please remind me, because the trailers are really good. I want everyone to see these. By the way, Top Gun Maverick hit CinemaCon, and reports are that audiences were blown away, and they are calling this, quote, the perfect blockbuster.
Oh, boy.
So there you go.
Okay.
I know, right? Oh, boy, is right. I can't wait. Now, so that means there is something for everyone in the fleet to enjoy that day. And if none of those options are appealing, the Bob's Burgers movie also hits theaters that day. You can't go wrong with Bob's Burgers. Anyway, now, I know we missed it by one day, but happy belated May the 4th be with you, everyone. It's a lovely new holiday where we get to celebrate all things Star Wars. Now, I don't need a holiday to remind my lifelong love of Star Wars, but it sure is fun to have one. And I think it speaks volumes for fandoms around the world. I mean, the gateway drug for all things sci-fi, and I am all in for that. So recently I had a chance to visit some of my family down in Florida, and I got to visit the new Star Wars section in Disney's Hollywood Studios. It was really fun. It was really, really wonderful. I mean, just seeing all those ships around, it was amazing. The bazaar with the shopping stalls is especially well done. You really have the feeling that you're like on some outpost somewhere, just going through wares. Lots of exceptional details. I mean, even the garbage cans are painted to blend in with the theme. So I was pretty impressed. If you do go, Rise of the Resistance is the ride that you want to hit. It is such an experience, full of stormtroopers, droids, daring action, holographs. Unbelievable. You will love it. The Millennium Falcon ride was okay, but truth be told, it could have been anything, because all I kept thinking was, oh my God, I'm on the Millennium Falcon. It's like I could have dropped a bomb on us and I wouldn't have noticed.
Oh my God, I'm on the Millennium Falcon, and my gosh, does Chewie shed? Look at all the hair.
We gotta say. All I can tell you guys is the drawbacks are that the Star Wars section of the park is woefully small. It needs to be much, much bigger. It's also insanely crowded. I mean, I couldn't get near the cantina for a drink or a snack. The line to get in was over 90 minutes long.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and it was like wall-to-wall people everywhere. I am going to pick up the Disney Star Wars cookbook for my eclectic cookbook collection, and I will make my own blue milk drink. Thank you very much.
Now you're talking.
And then I'll share it with you guys. Listen, I am just happy to live in a world where even from a galaxy far, far away, we can sometimes experience the films we love in a whole new way. And even bring home some things that are unexpected, like my love for my little stuffed Jar Jar Binks here. I mean,
see that, Pete?
Sorry,
oh boy! Oh boy!
Jar Jar's the best, Pete.
I'm not a fan of Jar Jar, guys, but I just fell in love with his little face. Look how cute! I mean, come on.
Oh my God!
Jar Jar is the best character in all of Star Wars. That's all I got to say.
No, he's not. He is definitely.
He is
not.
what makes Star Wars Star Wars. Without Jar Jar, I'm waiting for Star Wars, the Jar Jar story. I can't wait for that.
Well, yeah, when we get back, my Jar Jar is going to give Chris the stink eye. You'll see.
Amazing.
Star Wars, the Jar Jar series. Me Jar Jar.
On my little vacay. Ooh, me so sad.
Oh boy.
Ooh, me have own episode.
amazing. But anyway, guys, so that's my recap of my little vacation. It was fun. But now on to this week's TV reviews. Who out there is watching Outer Range?
I am.
Amazon Prime.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh my. Now, I did not know how much I needed this one in my life, but boy, I really did. This one stars Josh Brolin, Lily Taylor, Will Patton, Imogen Poots, and Tom Pelphrey. Now, Ozark fans will recognize him as Laura Linney's ill-fated brother Ben. So if you're going, gosh, that guy looks familiar, yeah, that's why. So basically, it is a stellar cast. Now, what is it about? Picture mixing Yellowstone with the X-Files and sprinkle on a liberal dose of Twin Peaks. And there you have it.
Oh,
now,
wow.
Josh Brolin stars as Royal Abbott. He's a Midwestern ranch owner, and he's dealing with some unusual circumstances. His daughter-in-law recently disappeared without a trace, so his son and his granddaughter are back living with them on the ranch. His megalomaniac billionaire neighbor, played by gleefully evil Will Patton, is trying to take over a section of his west pasture. A drifting camper girl shows up on the land looking to set up camp for a while, and oh yeah, there is a large and mysterious black hole that has opened up on his land. And this is all just the tip of the iceberg and all things you learn within the first 15 minutes of the first episode. So mind-blowing. Now, I honestly can't tell you that I have no idea where this one is headed, but I am all in for the ride. It is very well shot. The scenes are stunning. The actors are universally exceptional. But oh my, would I be remiss if I didn't single out the great Lily Taylor as Royal's wife. Now, she's playing a role that so far, if it was played by anyone else, it could be a complete throwaway. But with Lily Taylor in the role, I get the feeling that Cecilia Abbott has a lot more going on than what meets the eye. Remember how the first season of Ozark, Wendy kind of was in the background? Well, look how that one turned out. But I digress. Outer Range is one of those rare shows that kind of subtly throws things out at you with no explanation, and it lets these things unfold organically. They're not beating you over the head with plot points. It's participatory theater. It requires you to invest your attention wisely, note the details, and enjoy the ride. Not just race to the destination. Because with this one, who even knows what the destination is?
Oh, that's no joke.
Right? It's like, I am 5 episodes in of an 8-episode series. I have no clue. But I am loving it. Okay? New
Are we going to get into time travel? Is he going to go some... Yeah.
There's so much stuff. It's like it's like, without giving too much away, there's so many different things happening, so many things going on, and this black hole is... That's really what the big question is. What is this black hole and what's it doing? So check this one out, guys. I have a feeling you'll will like it. And then we can talk more about it. And now, Ozark.
Of course.
Final
I think you hate Ozark. I really do. I think, Ozark is up
here. It's really clearly obvious how much I dislike this one. You guys might notice I never talk about ones that I don't like because I don't want to be too negative. So I try to give you the things that are good. And if things are passable, I'll let you know. But
waste of time.
Wow. Ozark. Can I just say off the bat how unbelievably sad I am that the series is over. And I don't think I'm alone in saying that this series was kind of head and shoulders above most other things out there. It's absolutely stellar quality across the board. I can't remember a season that I didn't care for or I wasn't excited about seeing more. I also can't think of a weak link. Over the course of the series, every single side character they brought in was fully realized, added so much to the series. Special shout out this season to the incredible Richard Thomas. As Wendy's evil to the bone but Bible thumping dad, he owned every scene. And that is saying a lot when you're mainly working opposite the great Laura Linney. He legit makes my skin crawl in this. And I love him. So this was really something. His portrayal, it's just like a masterclass in acting. He deserves all the praise being heaped on him for it. The location scenes filmed in the Ozarks are always exceptional. And they serve as kind of a fully realized added dimension. I especially love the Langmore's camp, if you will, with the trailers on the water and the big old leather couch by the fire pit. Speaking of, there is a lovely flashback scene with Wyatt. Oh, Wyatt. And Ruth, and they're talking about rich people and how if they were rich and they lived there, even though they're right on the lake, they'd have a pool. Great significance. It will come back there at the end. And the end. Wow. Now, I can't say really anything without giving anything away. Please avoid spoiler reviews on this one, gang. Just watch it. But to quote one article I read, this really nails it. It says, it is a finale that is befitting what's come before, and it balances shock with inevitability, and it lands with unexpected blunt force. I cannot have said it better myself. This show is just a masterpiece. I think it's going to be talked about and dissected for years to come. Once we've all had a chance to catch up on it, we should definitely talk more about it in significant detail. So let's put that on our schedules, IFB fans. How about you guys? Are you guys caught up on the finale of Ozark?
Nope. Can't say I've been watching that one. I've been doing too many other things, so
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance yet. I did watch Brave New Worlds, and I'm in the fourth season of The Love Boat.
No, for real?
Gotta love the
I
Love
love
Boat.
that show. It is
It
so much fun. I mean, but talk about the 70s. The womanizing in that thing, that would not go over today.
That's a great show.
But it's like the who's who of everything from the 70s. Like everybody you know was on the. If you
Everybody
were
was
nobody,
on
if you
it.
weren't on the Love Boat.
Yeah, I get on the treadmill, and that's my go-to. So I go to the Love Boat.
And then followed by Fantasy Island.
Yeah, I didn't watch Fantasy Island yet. So
love
the new one's
Fantasy
supposed to be pretty good too. So I haven't watched that one
I
yet.
watched
either.
some of the new one. It's pretty good.
Is the new one good? I haven't checked it out.
You gotta
I was
watch
afraid.
it. Yeah. There's a bridge to the past. There's a link to the original. Oh yes. Oh.
Okay.
Step
Well,
yes,
I
you
do
gotta
love
watch
me
it.
some Ricardo Montalban.
Ricardo
my
Montalban.
con.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yes, Ricardo Montalban.
So, Tiny Bean, thank you for the review. Looking forward to having you back. And before I give you the toast, Fran reminded us that Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
So we should be toasting all of our Mexican fans that are out there as well.
Yes.
So she's working on a tankard of Dos Equis. So this one is...
Well done, Fran.
I'm going to go get the tequila. I'll be right back.
Her.
Yeah, no kidding. So this one goes out to Tiny Bean Tara and all our fans watching in Mexico at Cinco de Mayo. This is all to you
Cinco de
guys.
Mayo. Hello, happy Cinco de
There
Mayo.
you go.
Hello, guys.
Oh, boy,
well,
all right.
Thank you so much, guys. It was great to be back. I'm going to jump back out and let you guys get moving on. I can't wait to watch this interview. I'm so excited. So I'll be in the wings watching.
All
All right, cool.
Thanks
you,
for coming
Tara.
on.
We're going to see more of you
All
soon.
right. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, hola, yes. All right, so you know what? Without further ado, Chris, we have Von Babasin, who, to quote MediaCollege.com, says is a longtime maven of the film and music industries, from composing and playing jazz to working in all aspects of film and video production. And he, he's not only, the film and the movie, but he also a musician and all of that good stuff. And we're going to let him,
bassist player in a hair band. That's all I got to say.
Pull us all into his world and tell us about all the great stuff he's been working on and done, going to, and, past, present, future, all of it. So Von Babasin, welcome to our show, and thank you for taking the time out, and welcome, sir.
Yep, hang on.
Me?
Now
All
we
right,
go.
come on.
There we go.
There we go. We got you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good.
I had to turn. I don't have my buttons tonight. They're not working. I need to restart. But
Well, on the Cinco de Mayo front, I was honored to actually work as a grip, as a screen credited grip on La Bamba.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
And
right.
I grew up in Pacoima. So Richie Valens was a hometown hero in my community growing up at school. And then it turns around, a good buddy of mine was the key grip on the show. And he said, "Hey, Vaughn, you want to be grip on La Bamba?" And I just went, "Oh, my God. What? Yeah, please."
Yeah, of course.
It was, what an incredible experience
I'll
Lou
pass.
Diamond
Yeah,
Phillips first, Luis
Oh,
Valdez from Zoot Suit was the director. And it was just remarkable. What a great experience that was. So
That's so
anyway.
cool. Oh yeah, but so Vaughn, I was reading some of the background information in terms of interviews and just brushing up on your background. You'd gotten into the industry around a time when there was just things going on left and right, and you've worked on some great stuff. So can you just give us a little bit of that?
Sure. That was the timing is everything. And I walked on the Universal lot in summer of '76 and introduced myself to John Bensberg, who was the head of the craft service labor union. There were two labor unions on the lot. There was a off-production labor and an on-production labor. And craft services, which if you know the movie industry, you know that craft services like serve coffee and do donuts and all that crap. Well, actually, craft service people assist crews that actually work in front of the camera. So they're on production labor.
Oh, wow.
So the very first job I had was a greens crew for Rich Man, Poor Man, which was cool. We went out to some mansion in Pasadena and spray painted the grass green. They said it was a chlorophyll-based paint. Actually, now they have that stuff for like public consumption. But this was back in the industry, and put up plants all over that made it look like a real contemporary mansion when it was really dilapidated. Needed a lot of work. So that was my first 2-week job. And right from that crew, I went to go assist the special effects crew of Airport 77. And I found an immediate home. I'm telling you. I walked into that stage. It was stage 27, which was the same stage that was the compound for The Thing. So I spent years on stage 27. Anyway, there was an airplane fuselage mounted in a pit full of water on a gimbal that rocked it any way it could. And we had 5 dump tanks with 13,000 gallons of water that would release the water slowly, not all at once, or it would just all splash everywhere. You had to do it slowly. And they found that out through trial and error. Trust me, there's a lot of trial and error in the movie making business. But they just rotated these drums, and the water would come crashing through the fuselage of the plane and destroy everything, of course. But everything was cabled off. So as soon as the water was done going through, we'd suck the cables back. Everything would be right back to 1, and we'd be ready to do it again.
Oh, no way.
I'll tell you.
That's cool.
Sure. Yeah. It was all cabled down in position. So stuff could fly around, but it was also, because it was restrained by the cable, it would only go a certain distance. So it didn't become a complete hazard, It was a restraint as well as a way to pull it back to 1 and start again.
Cool.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So we could do multiple takes of some arduous shot like that.
Well, I'm sure somebody got hit with something in there, and it's, what we need to do is probably put a cable on that.
That was all planned out.
Joe over there's got a broken nose. So.
Well, interesting thing about Airport 77 is one of the crew guys that was just part of the ensemble in the airplane was Gil Gerard. Was 2 years before he became Buck Rogers. Yeah, I know.
Rogers.
There were a bunch of guys, a bunch of actors that would be like contract side bit actors. You'll see them in all those shows. You'll see them in BJ and the Bear. You see them at Rockford Files. That they all crossed over. They were all hired by the same community that's pulling from actors, But some of these people were specifically under contract to uni. And it's like Steven Spielberg was an under contract director when he did Duel before he went in to do Jaws. So, it's kind of like they have this pool, this stable of people that they kind of nurture and bring up through the ranks. And
Wow.
yeah, he just kind of had this bit part in Airport, but then he became the star of Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers, yeah.
That was pretty
So,
cool.
Vaughn,
Yeah, he became Buck Rogers.
you made your way at one point. You ended up working at Universal. You worked on the Cylons at Battlestar Galactica.
That happened. Yeah, after I came back from the Jaws 2 experience, on location, they actually bumped me up to prop maker. So instead of just being a craft serviceman, I became kind of like a crossover guy. So if a crew needed an extra pair of hands and they had me as their craft serviceman, then they could just bump me up in grade and I could go ahead and participate. But the time I worked on the Cylon stuff, that was actually in the shop. And the vacuform, the old toy vacuforms we had as a kid, that you would take a sheet of plastic and there'd be a light bulb above the plastic and it would heat the plastic up. And then you had a figure down below and you'd pull the plastic down and it would vacuum suck the plastic over that form and it would create whatever the form was. That was called a vacuform. It was actually a very popular toy as a kid. Well, we had a giant one at Universal.
Oh boy.
And we had all the Cylon helmets, the male half of the Cylon helmets, left and right, had these giant sheets of Mylar plastic that we put in the machine. And of course, it wasn't a light bulb, it was a real heating coil that would heat them up. And then they'd bring that down and suck them down. And that's exactly what made the helmets and all the breastplates and the arm pieces, all that was plastic that was sucked down on a vacuum form machine. And then we'd have to painstakingly take those, and with little Dremel tools, we'd have to cut them free and marry them, seamlessly, which you can still see the seams. I'm sorry. But we tried. We tried real hard.
We have an actual Cylon builder on the program.
Oh boy, Vaughn, you have no idea how happy Chris is right now.
That's right.
He is.
I can't come on camera. I'm too happy.
He said Cylon. I heard him talking about Cylon earlier. Yeah.
He is. Yeah. He sees
I don't
himself
like
as a Cylon.
I don't like Cylons at all. See, they're horrible. See, and none at all.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, from Buck Rogers, the Draconian Marauder.
Oh yes,
that was the hell ship to work on.
Oh yeah,
because the designer of that Marauder, of that spaceship, decided there would be no square corners anywhere.
Oh boy!
So everything was a triangular. Oh my God, the cuts we had to make in the wood to try to put the pieces together, because we built actual size, we had one ship of every actual ship, the Colonial, what were they called? The Vipers and the Raiders. We had the Vipers, and then the Raiders were the Cylon ships.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You're talking about full size? Full size?
We had full, wow. Because they had to sit. They had to sit in the cockpits. The close-ups of them sitting in the cockpits. You always saw them flying around.
Oh,
that's so cool.
So I worked in the instrument panel of the Draconian Marauder, trying to cut pieces that would go into this panel. That it was just a nightmare, freaking nightmare.
Oh wow!
Everything was a miter cut. Oh my God! I'll never forget that. And I was working on a night shift at that time, so it would be like all night on these endless angle cuts.
and your reputation, Vaughn, was that you're a bit of a workaholic, so you must have been there working like crazy. Yeah,
we had. I remember 3.5 months without a day off. I remember a 37-hour day.
Ooh,
well, you couldn't work from home.
Cha-ching! Holy mackerel!
It was cha-ching, all right.
Oh boy!
On Jaws 2, I was the key man. I had the keys to the entire effects compound. So I was the first man in, last man out.
Yep,
I opened it up in the morning and I locked it up at night. And so I was there. Man. I had one week. My paycheck had 60 overtime hours and 40 straight time hours.
Sweet.
And there's like only 168 hours in a week, so I worked 100 of those.
No time for living outside of that, right? No social life on that.
But we were living in a luxury Holiday Inn on Navarre Beach, Florida. It was an amazing resort. Oh yeah, and they had rap parties.
When you got
Sunday,
to go there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I lived
sleeping
there.
on set.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You went back to sleep. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, the pier right out of the hotel was where we launched to go to the set, because the set was out in the ocean. In the Gulf.
Boy.
So yeah,
cool.
the pier, they'd come with Boston whalers and go shuttle us out to where the cameras were. Unless I was riding out with the shark. If I was on the sea, yeah.
Is it safe to say that you're probably in that shot there? The one that was that Chris had up.
Oh yeah,
this one.
definitely.
Yeah, so you're on
the
one
black
of those
and white
boats.
one before.
One?
I'm standing on the boat. Okay, this
one you're standing on the boat.
This one I'm standing on the boat with you see the cable is actually anchored right next to where I'm sitting.
Oh, boy.
And the crane, the camera crane, is to my right and is sitting right next to me and has the cameraman lowered into the water in his wetsuit. And at first, the explosion was so big, the cameraman, you couldn't even see him in frame because it was just a huge. They had to bring him in slowly as the flames died down. Oh, hell yeah, it was I've got a sequence of shots of like 6 shots. And the first one is the entire flame. I mean, the entire frame is obliterated by fire. It's just a blur. You don't even see the shark.
Wow.
But yeah, this was in January 1977 on the lot at Universal. This is right across from Stage 27 where I worked on Airport 77. And that's a shark head, obviously. The guy in the middle between Mike Wood and I is Roy Arbogast, and he was the effects coordinator on the thing. He was just a foreman on Jaws 2, but I worked for him as the coordinator when they did John Carpenter. So,
nice.
But yeah, they were routing lines into the skin and then filling it with some pyrotechnic and then lighting it off to see what it looked like. You know, it looked like convincing electrocution or not. Like I say, trial and error. A lot of trial and error.
Oh man! Oh, look at that thing.
Yeah, that's me again. That's the shark skeleton before the skin went on, obviously, and that's the platform shark. Now I'm standing on a platform. That's a huge platform that's surrounded by ballast tanks, and they would fill the ballast tanks to lower the platform down to the depth of water that they wanted to keep it at that level. And then that arm, that turret that is holding the shark up, bends right at that circle there like an elbow, and it lifts up and down, and it travels on the track back and forth so the shark can move up and down. And those are for close-up tight shots when they wanted to get in tight on the shark attacking something.
Holy crap.
They had 2 sharks too. One had a left mount and one had a right mount, depending on how they wanted to shoot the camera angle from. So, yeah, because those workings. There he is, and that's before anything. He hadn't even touched water then, because one of the very first shots they had is the shark burn scene when Gene Coulter shoots him with the flare gun, pours gasoline on him, and he gets burnt. And of course the boat blows up, but he gets a big scar on his face. Well, this is obviously pre-scar. This was like perfection, pristine shark right there. Before he even touched the water.
Vaughn, one of our listeners and supporters, actually a guest on the show, Professor Eric Patton, he wants to know, how did the change of directors midstream on Jaws 2 impact your work on production, or did it have no real change at all?
Coming from the special effects viewpoint, it didn't really have much of a change at all, because the focus of the effects crew was making the shark work.
Okay, yeah.
You know, with all of the publicity about how the first shark in the first Jaws didn't work ever.
Right.
You know, they tried to really make improvements in this shark, and they were much more concerned about the performance of the shark rather than John Hancock's versus Jeannot Schwartz. Jeannot was also one of those directors that was under contract to Universal. Yeah, I think I saw the other day he directed an episode of Rockford Files, but he was just kind of one of those guys.
Files.
Oh yeah, Rockford Files is great. Yeah.
James Garner, the nicest guy in the world. I'm telling you,
Cool.
the nicest star I ever worked with was James Garner.
Oh,
Yep.
That's awesome to know.
And
That is awesome. Yeah.
the nicest female was Angie Dickinson. What a freaking
really?
sweetheart she was. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Just I worked
Who was
with
the
her on
worst?
Big
Do you
Bad
want to
Mama.
say?
No, can't say. Stop asking that.
It's always good to say
Well,
who the best is.
All I'll say is that he was arrested for murdering his wife, but I don't think he was found guilty. They used to have a lot of graffiti in the bathrooms in New York Street in the back lot about this guy,
Oh my!
and they were never complimentary.
Oh, really? Oh, boy.
Oh yeah,
that says something.
New York Street's another clue.
So Vaughn, from movies to TV shows, you've done music as well. You went into soundtrack stuff and tell us about that.
Yeah, well, you see, right after The Thing, that was pretty much when CGI was really starting to take over. You know, there were actually a few shots in The Thing that were actually CGI. So the industry was starting to turn that way, and Universal was offloading people. They were streamlining. See, to kind of track back a little bit, we were talking about the time when I was hired. They were shooting on every stage on the lot. They were either shooting a movie or they were shooting a TV show, and they were even hiring, like on general services. They were hiring renting other studios, other studio lots, because they had so much production going on. Well, in the 80s, they turned that around. They decided, Universal made the decision to not self-produce so much and start letting the independent companies foot the bill, and then if they liked the result, they would buy the distribution rights. And so, you know, they would, obviously the film would get the benefit of Universal distribution,
would walk up to me.
but Universal doesn't actually incur the cost of the production. So
Right, of course. Yeah, that's which is, I think, more
Less
or less
risk.
kind of like, less risk, and like Netflix and Amazon, they're well known for doing it that way. And yeah, it's a smart model. I mean, you know, when you come to think of it. Yeah.
So they were streamlining, and I was, you know, moonlighting with the rock and roll group.
Oh, of course you were.
And there was a guy who was a producer, and he had some money, and he liked us, and he wanted to produce an album. And it seemed like a good time to leave Universal, and I kind of almost still kick myself, kind of, not really, because I've done a lot of really good stuff, but I walked away from Universal, which like 90% of the adult male populace of America would kill to be at.
Yeah.
But I had to follow my musical dream, and I did. So, but it was great. I was hired, I signed a contract with an independent record label, and I was hired as a production manager and director of their music video division. And this one that you're seeing, that's actually from a movie that we did the soundtrack for. Although I did edit that video. I did.
Cool.
But that's beside the point. Back in '83, I was producing and directing music videos for this company called Jam Power Records. And we actually got one that was considered for an independent screening award at the 1984 Billboard MTV Music Video Conference.
Wow, that's back when MTV actually played music.
That was yeah. But it became the
it?
MTV Awards. You know, a decade later, it was the biggest thing on the planet. But that year, Herbie Hancock's Rocket was the winner that year.
Oh,
it was only the second year of music video. Oh my God!
Oh wow!
We were up against Julie Brown's "The Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun."
Oh yeah!
You remember that?
Sure,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She lost 2 and I lost 2, but that's okay. We were nominated
wow.
together, baby. Julie Brown.
Oh wow! Oh, that is
Downtown Julie Brown.
No,
Yeah,
not downtown
man.
Julie Brown.
Oh, okay.
No.
Different.
Downtown Julie
No,
Brown
no.
was a VJ.
For the VJ, yeah.
Correct.
Julie
That's
Brown
right.
is a red-haired comedian who
Yeah.
she
Yep.
did this home. She's
Yep.
been in all kinds of stuff. She was in some sitcom stuff too. I can't think of the shows she was in, but yeah, a girl I went out with in college knew Julie really well.
Oh, see that? Oh
At
boy.
LA Valley College.
Oh boy.
So
those were the days,
yeah.
man. 80s? Are you kidding me? Woo wee. Yeah.
it was cool. We had a good time. I went out to this place called Indian Dunes. Now, unfortunately, Indian Dunes is kind of infamous for the Twilight Zone tragedy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's what it was. Is Indian Dunes was a motocross place where people rode their motor, trail bikes and stuff, and outside of Magic Mountain, outside of LA. But it was a great place for locations. All kinds of things have been shot there. And as a matter of fact, I shot a music video there. But
Cool.
but Vic Morrow tragically lost his life there, and that was just something that was really sad, really devastating. And I knew the crew, I knew the guys. They were on trial for manslaughter, although they got off. But it was just what a harrowing experience that was. Ooh, hate to be in a part of that. But
I mean,
anyway.
and now you got stuff like that's going on now. I mean, there's all sorts of accidents that happen on the sets, and now you've got the most recent one was with a firearm. I think is what was
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, that Alec Baldwin thing.
Alec Baldwin, yeah.
Oh, I'm amazed that there aren't more tragedies on movie sets.
Yeah, tell us.
Oh my God!
There was one story I loved. I heard was one of the directors or something was testing something out, and he stuck his head in a vat of something that was explosive, burned his eyebrows off.
Oh, yeah. No. That was. Okay. I hate to snitch on him, but that was Roy in that picture. It wasn't a vat.
Oh.
It was okay. We were doing pyrotechnic tests on the shark, right? So they wanted to see what kind of responses different powders had, because they didn't have the experience already to know this. They had to do a trial by error. So he took a quart tub, just a wax tub, and he poured some flash powder in the bottom of it. And he took a lit quick match and he tossed it in. And it didn't do anything. So he picked it up and looked in it.
Oh, no.
I swear to God, this is the guy
boy.
who was the coordinator of the effects of the thing. And he looked into that, and of course it went off because he moved it, and it ignited. And his glass, luckily he had his glasses on. They just were gray, completely grayed over, burned his eyebrows off, singed his hairline back an inch or two.
No way. Rookie
And on
move,
the back
man.
of that picture, the guy who took the picture, it wasn't Ray. It was the cameraman, the still photographer for Jaws 2, took that picture. And on the back, he wrote, Roy, quote unquote, Flash Arbogast. Because he knew the truth too.
Ooh. Oh boy. So Vaughn, one of our
I'm surprised
listeners,
you heard that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, we did our homework.
We do our back. We do
That's
our.
great.
We look at
That's
you.
great.
We find everything we can find out about you.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
That's good. I like that.
One of our listeners and good supporters, good friend of ours, are Carl Cullenschmidt. He actually built a full-scale, 1-to-1 scale Colonial Viper.
Whoa.
And yes, he does conventions and the like. He asks a question. He wants to know, did you actually work on the Viper, and if you did anything, what was it? And as well as maybe the cockpit of the Cylon Raider? Did you do any of the work on that stuff?
The only one that I distinctly remember was the Marauder. I think I worked
Buck
a little.
Rogers.
Yeah. That was. It was such a traumatic experience.
It stayed with you, yeah.
It did stay with me, and it was what nobody else wanted to do. So let the new guy do it. You know, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, you figure it out.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Sorry, I couldn't be more helpful.
Oh, you're fine.
No, hey, listen, we're all curious. It's a chance to talk to someone that's been out there doing the real thing and, working on projects that we all love. I mean, you've done some of the greatest stuff. So when you left and you left Universal, you went over into the, I guess it's the music industry. You did music videos, you were directing that kind of stuff. Where did that take you?
Well, all over the place. I mean, the first group that I was with that signed that contract was called, and I hate to say this, but yes, it was called Uranus. And
Okay.
yeah, I know, but it's still released through Europe. So, and it, we did the music video. In fact, the music video in rotation in Europe is why we got the record deal, which was kind of cool.
Oh wow!
But by the time we had a press copy of the album in our hand, the guitar player had already gone to Sweden with some other group. And the lead singer was a Lush, and he went back into the bottle.
Oh,
so,
no.
Oh boy!
So by the time we have this press copy of this album, and then the group is half gone. So we tried to reform that. Yeah, we tried to reform another Uranus, but that didn't really work out. But the guitar player that I met through that contact, we ended up forming another group called the RH Factor. And that group, we released 3 albums, and that's the group that finally did the soundtrack for the Forever movie in '92. But we also, very ignominiously, we opened the Long Beach Jazz Festival, which the RH Factor was a total fusion rock group, though, and sadly, in 1988, my father had passed away, and the guy who was putting together the concert, the Long Beach Jazz, it was the first Long Beach Jazz Festival ever done. Anyway, this drummer Al Williams had played with my father, and he asked if we wanted to play, and I was like taken aback by it. He says, "Do you play jazz?" And I said, "Well, yeah, of course."
Of course, yeah.
So we went in and 24 hours of rehearsals spanning 2 weeks, and we went out and did it. We opened both days. It was pretty remarkable. Probably the best concert I've ever performed in. Stanley Clarke was there, the Rippingtons. They were some of my absolute idols of jazz were there playing on the same stage. It was incredible. They even interviewed us on KKGO at the time, was the K-Jazz station from Long Beach. And Chuck Niles, who was like the most legendary jazz disc jockey in LA history, actually interviewed us. And it was kind of like nodding to me because of my dad and respect for my dad. It was just so cool. It was one of the coolest musical experiences of my life, for sure.
Now, RH Factor, was that standing for like Roy Hargrove or anything like that?
Well, it's funny. I know you're looking at a different RH Factor. We were first. It doesn't matter. Roy Hargrove. I know he's a tremendous player. Actually, the guitar player in the RH Factor's name is Rob Howell. And the RH Factor is the name of a song that my father wrote back in the 50s. So I always thought it was a cool name. And actually, it had been kind of named for a vibe player that my dad worked with named Robert Harrington. So
oh my gosh!
Yeah, I know. And I think my mom had the RH Factor in her blood too, so that it just all was full circle.
Oh my!
Brought it all together. Oh, that's outstanding. So, Vaughn, tell us about the documentary. Then, I mean, this all leads definitely to one place, and that is that you're putting together, and you've been working on this for a while, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's been about almost 20 years now.
Oh, wow.
Well, my dad passed away tragically only at the age of 67 in 1988 from emphysema, from smoking on the road all those years.
Sure.
But yeah, it took both my mom and my dad. But after he passed away, he was always very active in trying to highlight the jazz from the West Coast. When he released his label in 1954, the Nocturne Jazz label, he called the series of albums the Jazz in Hollywood series. So he was specifically trying to highlight the players that were out here on the West Coast. So he was always trying to spur that throughout his entire life. He had another thing that he called the LA Jazz Theaseum. It was an nonprofit organization, and they released a lot of albums on the Jazz Chronicles series that were also, definitive West Coast jazz. And after he passed away, I had worked with some people proactively trying to honor him in various ways. And in 2002, the city of LA honored him at City Hall with a certificate of commendation and a crystal statue to honor him for his musical contributions to the city of Los Angeles. And it was pretty much at that time that I thought, okay, I've really got to do something here. We put together, my dad's business partner, Roy Hart, who was a drummer, he was still living at the time, he's passed now. But we started working together and putting together an idea to build a jazz museum dedicated to West Coast jazz in Hollywood from the Drum City building, which is where all this history took place. It was a great idea, but it just never got funded. So what happened was the idea for that got into the hands of a lady who was a writer, nonprofit grant writer for the New York Foundation for the Arts, as you're showing on the page right now. She approached me and she said, I had posted a picture of my dad playing with Charlie Parker and was like, oh my God, Vaughn, I had no idea that the depth of what you were talking about, And it's like, yeah. I mean, he played with the best of the best. And so, she said, well, we can't possibly get behind the funding of the museum. That's just too much money. But do you have a project that would maybe bring attention to the museum that we could help you with? And I just said, oh my God, 2 years ago, I wrote this film treatment for a documentary, and I had presented it to a company called ITVS in San Francisco, and whatever. I've got a book of 250 rejection letters.
Oh boy!
So They were just one of many. Yo, yeah, you want to talk about a tough hide, baby? It was arduous.
Wow.
Anyway, in a week and a half, Mary Six Rupert, the head of fiscal sponsorship at NYFA, called me personally and said, this is tremendous. This is a film that must be made. And I, of course I agreed with her, but she immediately put together this fiscal sponsorship contract, and I just went crazy with it. They gave me access to this foundation directory where I could go in and painstakingly find all the mission statements and exactly what they, whether it was educational or it was musical or jazz or West Coast or East Coast, and whatever, I could fashion my proposal so it would propose to their mission statements. And I still couldn't do it. It just was so frustrating. I wrote to 500 foundations, which is insane. Later on, after I had failed so many times, I decided maybe I should hire a professional grant writer. And so I asked a couple of people who wrote professional grant writing. They were like, oh yeah, give me $5,000 and I'll propose it to 5 foundations. I'm like, what? I've already proposed it to 500 foundations, and I didn't need $5,000 to do it. What the hell? It baffles me sometimes what people do. But I was fearless too. I went to everybody and anybody, the Playboy, Ford Foundation, Occidental Petroleum, now Playboy, my dad, there's actually a Jazz Picker nomination up on the wall here. He was nominated in 1958 for Best Jazz Group at the Playboy All-Star Jazz Poll. So I thought there would be some kind of relation, Doris Duke, she was a very big aficionado of jazz. Her live-in piano player boyfriend used to run a jam session up above the garage on their property, which was called it was Rudolph Valentino's old place called Falcon's Lair, and it was just
Nice.
this huge giant mansion in the Hollywood Hills. And whoever was playing with Joe that night, which my dad would frequently, they would end up after hours going up to the apartment above the garage and doing all-night jam sessions. And
Wow.
Doris Duke is a huge, her foundation supports all kinds of jazz projects, but not mine.
Oh, boy.
So, and it, whatever. I've just been undaunted. I just continue to do what I can. Like I say, like right now, I'm waiting for 2 albums to be delivered. They're 78s from 1947.
Whoa.
And they're with the Dodo Mamarosa Trio, and they're the first cello tracks ever in jazz history. And my dad was the one who did it.
Wow.
He's the first bassist he picked up a cello and put it in his lap like a guitar and plucked it. And
No
he's
kidding.
the first guy to, yeah. And their recordings, they're amazing recordings from back then. In fact, he had his signature group was called the Jazz Pickers because it was centered around the picking band of guitar picking, cello picking, and bass picking. And then he would add subtlety to it, like a flute or a vibraphonist, something that was, it wouldn't be like a trumpet that would overpower the subtlety of the cello and the guitar. It would that would overpower it. But in fact, a lot of the reviews that they would receive were jazz chamber music because
Wow.
it kind of had that softer, instrumentation and
Yeah.
approach.
So,
Very
so
unique.
Vaughn,
Still unique.
well, yeah, of course it is. This is all, great stuff. I mean, how far into your project have you gotten? Could you say that you're like, I'm past the halfway, or I just need a little bit more, or is it still I can't believe it's in its infancy. It's got to be at what stage are you at?
Well, to be able to produce something in true 4K, you have to scan in your pictures, your media, whatever you're using, at as high resolution as you can. There's a certain pixel rate that you have to follow in case you want to close up in on a picture and maintain the same.
The Ken Burns effect thing.
Exactly, the Ken Burns effect thing. So I've just painstakingly been scanning every image I can. I've got downbeats from 1940s to 1980s. I have photos, just amazing photos, and the album covers. I have an oversized scanner so I can scan in a full 12-inch album. So I have all those album covers and album art as well, and the liner notes that tell the story as well. It's just an amazing history. And it's not just my dad. It's like hundreds of these wonderful West Coast jazz musicians that played and recorded with him, like Shorty Rogers and Shelly Manne and Bud Shank and Roy Hart, and just the line goes on and on and on. Great guys, great musicians. Just, it was a different day back then. In fact, remember the Wrecking Crew? I don't know if you know that movie, but it's about the group of professional musicians that put over the Beach Boys and the Monkees, that they played their tracks. And they were called, they were referred to as the Wrecking Crew. Nobody really knew them by name per se, but they were the ones that went in and did the music for the guys that really couldn't. But they had they had the image, the marketable image.
Right.
So
what's it going to take, Vaughn, to get your project done? I mean, this is for real. This is a historical. It merits the efforts that you're doing.
Have you done like a crowdfunding or something?
Well, crowdfunding would work. I mean, New York Foundation for the Arts was the ultimate crowdfunding. One of the most prestigious arts organizations in the world. And I think 2 people donated a couple $100, and that's all I ever ended up with from that. It's just remarkable. But you see, when I first started doing this, and I did approach the crowdfunding sources that were out there, Kickstarter was just getting off the ground. They had never dealt with a budget as large as mine. Now, not that mine is that large. When I was working in the nonprofit world, I was asking for $600,000
Right.
We ended up bumping that up to $1 million, but that's still considered a low budget movie in Hollywood standards, of course.
Right, of course.
And unfortunately, the lion's share of that money, sadly, goes to the licensing of the film and music clips that I don't have the rights to, that I have to pay mega companies the rights to be able to use them in my story. So, you know, the clips from A Song Is Born with Danny Kaye and Virginia Mayo, they come from 20th Century, and I'm going to have to pay them, you know, buku bucks for every second of screen time I show of that. And the same thing with the Stars of Jazz. He was in 3 episodes of the TV show called Stars of Jazz in the 50s. And the same thing, they're owned by ABC, you know, so it's going to be top dollar. And can you imagine, half the budget has to go to people who are already millionaires and billionaires? It's so frustrating sometimes.
Oh boy.
You know, oh boy.
Is there a way around it? Is there a way to create a documentary that does justice and kind of skirt around some of that?
The only thing I could say is we could make it without the licensing in place. And then when we're shopping it, that's when we try to, you know, sell it to the distribution rights with the idea that a lot of the money is going to go to pay for the licensing, so we can air it, you know.
Right. And
unfortunately, in this day and age, even the photographers want their percentages. So it's like, you know, my father appears in this image with Louis Armstrong, and so Louis Armstrong's estate wants a piece of the action. Well, the guy actually took the picture now wants a piece of the action too. You know, everybody who's involved in creating that contact, it's amazing. It really is amazing.
The guy in the back who actually developed it now wants a little bit of it too.
Exactly.
I developed that photograph.
Yeah, sure. It wouldn't be as clear if I hadn't done that.
Yeah. Oh man, that's, you know, this is such a worthy cause. My in-laws are big jazz enthusiasts, and they live in Southern California. So I bet that they actually saw you back in the 80s when you first started, because they're big into this. Man, I hope that there is a way to get this done, Vaughn. I really do, because it's definitely worthy. So tell us a little bit more about, you know, I mean, this is obviously one of your big projects, but what else is going on with you? What else can you tell us about?
Well, let's see. It is the 40th anniversary of the thing.
No.
Boy.
Yep,
Wow.
June 25th. Now, 4 years ago, I was flown to Canada to appear at the London, Ontario Comic-Con, which it was me and Dean Cundy. Oh my God, we were the only 2 people from the crew, and we're sitting in center stage on the couch in center stage in front of everybody, and Dean Cundy and me talk about the sublime and the ridiculous. No, it was such an amazing honor for me to be on stage with him. And he was so gracious. He's just a wonderful guy. Dean Cundy is just, you know, they gave him the Lifetime Achievement Award from the American Cinematographer Society. And he's just been on countless, you know, he did Apollo 13. He was nominated for an Academy Award for Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He did Jurassic Park. And of course, he started with John Carpenter on Halloween and did all the Halloweens, and then Escape from New York, and then The Thing. And so Dean and John have been a team forever. But anyway, yeah, just to be able to sit up there and talk with him was so cool. It was so cool.
Yeah, my favorite John.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I said my favorite John Carpenter show is They Live.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite.
Okay, well, I won't take offense to that.
Oh, The Thing, man. The Thing. I remember seeing that in the movies, and when I did, I was like, whoa, that was incredible. It was really well done. Very cool. So that was definitely one of my favorites at the time and after. I remember watching it and just saying to myself, man, this is really, really good. You know, the story was good, the visuals were good. I really enjoyed that. So when I heard that you had been involved, I was like, holy mackerel, wow, that is so cool.
We were so
And
disappointed that it didn't succeed at the box office. It was just devastating to
What
us.
It became a
shame,
cult
yeah.
classic though later. So
yeah,
Oh,
cult
yeah.
classic later.
Yeah, it's awesome now.
I mean,
now
when you
it's
get
in
stuff
the
like
top
this,
5 of
I mean,
everybody.
look at that. That's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's
Now that's an
nuts.
actual prosthetic. That's an actual prosthetic that was sculpted, and then they made a mold of that, and then they made a foam latex appliance and actually attached that onto Charlie's body. The previous picture you were looking at that has the chest is all completely closed. Yeah, that one, they had just married that. See, he's actually laying underneath that. That's a fake prosthetic body laying on top of the table.
Oh
And his
boy!
body
Oh wow!
is inside the table. He's below it. Those are his real arms. But you can kind of see, if you look at his shoulders, there's a little bit of a weird angle to the way his shoulders come into his body there. And that's because his body is actually inside the table. And that's the chest that's about to blow up and bite the doctor's arms off. Yeah, see,
yeah.
but you see now that one, again, is different because that's him actually laying on top of the table with an appliance attached to his body. He's not in the table this time. That's actually him laying there.
Oh boy!
Let them
And
attach that, all the hours it took to put that on his body and stream all that. Oh, there I am. That's me.
And the dog.
That's a German Shepherd they used to block out the shots for the Malamute. You know how they have a stand-in for the stars, the star actors, right? Well, this guy was the stand-in for the Malamute. They would actually block out how the shot would work, and then because he was just a puppet.
Oh boy, man! Look at that. That is something. Oh wow! So Vaughn,
They
do
made
you
fun
do
of
act? Do you do conventions? Do you like? Is that something that they call you out to do, or
Well,
not
that
so
one
much?
time was that was the only time I had done it. Although it looks like I'm going to take part in some events this year, which is
Cool.
pretty
That's
exciting
cool.
for me.
Oh yeah.
Which ones do you know?
Well, there's supposedly one that's going to be a Zoom on June 25th. It's actually on the anniversary date. And I'm told that Kurt Russell may actually be a part of that too.
Ooh.
So that would really be it. The more I know about it, the more everyone will know about it. So I'll keep you posted on that one.
Oh heck yeah! We're gonna definitely put that out. We would love to get it. Oh my God, sure. And anything else for that matter that you're involved in, right? Any of the other, whatever shows, be it the jazz, whatever it is, please let us know. We definitely want to promote that stuff. We're big fans of your work, and I mean all of your work. So we definitely want to know about that. You got to keep us in the loop. And then if you're ever on the East Coast, especially, we're definitely going to come out to whatever events you're at, Vaughn. We really, like I said, big fans of your work. We love all this stuff. This is good stuff.
Well, thanks a lot. Yeah, that's the Phantasm explosions there. Now that house, we couldn't destroy that house. We could only make it look like we destroyed it.
That's Phantasm 2, man. Oh yeah.
That's
Phantasm
2, yeah.
Unlike
that's
this
good
house,
stuff.
which you just
Now
blew the
this
snot
one-
out of.
Yeah. No, well, that house was built on Indian Dunes, and that's for Big Bad Mama, and that's the great story. I got to tell you that one if you want
Sure.
to hear it.
Yeah, of course.
I have it sequenced like this for a reason. That first shot, you just see the fire in the window. Well, the reason why this explosion happens is because the house is the McClatchy house, and she's hiding in there with the girls, and all the ammunition and all the stuff is in there, and they're hiding out from the law, and the law is merciless, and so the bad guy sheriff or marshal, whatever he is, he lights a Molotov cocktail and he throws it into the house. So in order for that explosion to happen, there has to be an established fire in the window before the explosion happens. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
So we've got, this thing has 20 mortars inside that house.
Oh boy.
there's at least 10 of them are aimed at doors and windows. They're kind of at a 45-degree angle. And what you do is you put a black powder bomb at the bottom, and you cut a piece of Celotex and put that over the bomb, and then you fill the rest with sand, and you soak the sand with gasoline.
Oh,
so
no.
You're going to have a fireball that fires out of there, and that sand is going to take out whatever is in front of it. So if you have a balsa wood door or a window or anything, whatever you aim that at is going to be knocked out in a blazing fireball. So you've got all those. We had in the right behind the house, we have 2 gigantic freaking mortars. Have black powder, 1 ounce black powder, or excuse me, 1 pound black powder bombs at the bottom.
Holy crap!
With
Jeez.
20 gallons of gas on top of both of those.
My gosh!
Oh,
Okay.
no.
So now here I am in the middle of this house with a gallon of rubber cement and a Bic lighter.
Get out of
And
here.
Jim Wynorski is the director. They had 10 cameras on this thing. So he's out there in the front yard, and he goes, roll camera 1, roll camera 2, roll camera 3, roll all the way to 10. Okay, Vaughn, light the fire.
Oh, no.
So I pour out the rubber cement, and I light that freaking little pool of rubber cement with a Bic lighter. All you can smell in that house is gasoline. You know, liquid gasoline doesn't burn. It has to become a fume state before it actually ignites. And that's all you can smell in this house. So I don't know how it didn't go up when I just lit that Bic lighter. But
Oh, yeah.
I lit the thing, and I jumped right in between those giant mortars in the back. and I saw the dailies on one. It just looked like a white streak just shot right out of the back of that house.
Oh, my God.
As soon as I was to the pyrotechnician, I hit him on the shoulder, and he blew the house. And you can see the fireball was actually bigger around than the house itself. It's
Jeez.
just
Oh,
enormous.
What's
I could
this one?
feel. Yeah, that's got a funny story too. We couldn't bring home any of the pyrotechnics that we had bought in Florida on Jaws 2, and we couldn't store them for any length of time. So we had to blow up everything that was in the magazine.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, man.
So we sat out there one day and just blew everything up. It was awesome.
Oh, boy.
I think I found a new job I want to do.
Yeah, no kidding. That looks like it's real
That's-
munitions going off, man. Holy
Well,
mackerel.
Again, that's about an 8-ounce black powder bomb. And what they do is they put a bag of 10 gallons of gas on top of that, and they wire into the bomb. They also wire in a flash bag, because the flash bag is what actually ignites the fumes, because the bomb itself throws the gasoline into the air. The flash bag ignites the fumes as it becomes fumes. And so that's why you can see, if you really look carefully at that, you'll see little pieces of brown garbage bag flying through the air.
Really?
Because it was just,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
seriously. Right over by that little lick of flame off to the right side there, there's a little piece of brown plastic flying behind it.
That looks pretty cool, though. I gotta admit, that looks.
Oh,
awesome.
yeah,
What a heck
I
of a
definitely,
shot. Damn.
that picture was taken at the right second, I'll tell you.
It's
Oh, heck
Hollywoodish,
yeah,
that's for sure.
Oh, boy. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but can you believe that wasn't even for a shot? That was just because we had to do it. We had to get rid of the stuff.
Oh, man. So
Funny.
out of all of these projects that you worked on, Vaughn, what was like one of the most exciting one that you did that you could say, yeah, I think, I loved working on all of them, but there was something about maybe this one that kind of like, yeah, you look back and you say, well, this is why. Is there one?
The thing really was special. I
Okay.
hate to go back to that one, but it was, as far as me being with crew members and being around the making of a film, obviously that's very creative and there's a lot of artistic things happening. But being in that facility, the Heartland facility, Whoa, which, by the way, I didn't mention that. The Heartland facility that I worked with on the thing was originally built for the spaceships from Buck Rogers and Battlestar Galactica.
Oh.
Yeah, the Heartland facility. In fact, I have a little, I think I sent you a little logo design that says Heartland Universal. And it has the spaceship. I'm not sure if I sent that one to you.
Nope, I don't see it.
Okay, I'll definitely get that to you. Yeah, so they were a bunch of little laboratories, and they had tracks in the top, mounted all over the place, actually, on the walls and the ceiling. And some of them would be for the actual spaceships to be moving through, and some of them would be for the cameras to move around the spaceships and film them in darkness flying through space. So that's what the Heartland facility was originally built for. And when those productions closed and went down, Bottin was only 23 when he got this job, and he had no idea how incredibly stressful it was going to be. It really, I think he got an ulcer. They ended up bringing in Stan Winston and Tom Savini to kind of help out because it was so overwhelming for him there toward the end. It was just devastating. But yeah, it was just something. It actually drove him pretty much out of the industry for a while.
Oh, no kidding.
He did a few other things, but yeah, like now he's a recluse or something, and deals in real estate or something. Yeah, everybody says like, "Where's Rob Bottin?"
Oh yeah, don't ask. Do you keep up with the rest of the crews? How many of them are you still friendly with?
Just a couple of them. There's Larry Fiorito, who worked on Knight Rider, and he was actually the boss of the effects shop for a while. He was the one that sent me out that day to work at Buck Rogers.
Oh, cool.
Well, the actual opening pilot episode, the awakening episode, where he actually comes to consciousness. I worked for a week in the back lot doing the graveyard scene where he and Tweaky are running around.
Oh yeah,
and they're being chased by the zombies, and all the gravestones. Yeah. Well, for a whole week, I made all the smoke, all the low-lying smoke, the smoke in the air, and the dry ice smoke that hugged the ground. Yeah. So, and it was all night, all-nighters, a whole week of all-nighters. But it was very cool. And by the way, Tweaky was a good friend of mine. I actually knew Felix Silla. Away from he lived in Las Vegas. He's recently passed away, unfortunately.
Yes, right. Yes.
But he was a real nice guy, and he had been Cousin Ed. He had an amazing film history. That guy.
Yeah, he'd actually been in Battlestar Galactica as well. So. Yeah. He was.
right.
Lucifer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Lucifer. Yeah, I got them.
That's
I met him. I don't know, like maybe a year before he passed. He'd come out to WinterCon in New York City, and I got to speak with him and meet him. He's a very nice guy. Italian American. So really nice guy. Yeah. That's outstanding. Vaughn,
any Knight Rider stories before you go?
Oh yes, that's right. Knight Rider. Chris is a big fan.
Let's see. Yeah. Well,
there were so many cars.
Knight Rider was happening.
Yeah.
I know, and it was just so many car things, Yeah. I mean, and it was all happening at the same time. We had BJ and the Bears truck, and we had Knight Rider's truck, and we had the car there was for a while, and we were doing the Blues Brothers that set a record for cars destroyed in the making of a film. But yeah, Knight Rider. I remember they had a terrible time trying to get the red light to cycle back and forth in the front of that car. Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh,
that's pretty funny.
Yeah, they call that the Larson scanner now. That's really? The name of it now. Is they call it the Larson scanner.
The Larson scanner. Yeah. Well, all those push
you
buttons and all those lights and everything. Those were all Michael Lanteri in the electric shop. They were wire all those little things in. Of course, the truck itself, it did lower down the back end, but there was an extensive series of winches and pulleys and everything that allowed that to happen. So there was nothing in that truck. I mean, the internal part, when in the scenes of them being next to the car inside the truck, that's all shot on stage, of course. That wasn't really in the truck itself.
Oh boy,
So-
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
You know.
You were talking. I think I remember you talking about the Blues Brothers, and you'd actually launched a car.
Oh yeah.
In the air with a cannon.
Yeah. Yeah. It had a big metal tube that was welded down the middle of the car shell, of course, with no engine and stuff. But yeah, it was like just fitted over this rocketed cannon, and they had them going both ways. We had multiple. So the camera could be mounted down below, shooting up, and these cars would just come shooting over the camera. So funny.
What a great job! I
insane.
swear.
Yeah,
That's
really
insane,
was.
though.
It really
Wow.
was. So many
You would have
cool
thought
things.
that they could have done that with like miniatures, right? I mean, you maybe like making right instead.
Yeah, they
got-
could, sure. Well, as a matter of fact, that we blew up the Chicago bar, and that was a miniature. That was a miniature. We did these like little breakaway miniature bricks with the door and everything, and then hit it from an air cannon from behind, and it blew up.
Oh,
And it was a miniature. Can you believe that? It's so funny.
Wow.
You would think things that would be miniature aren't,
aren't yeah.
but then things
Oh my
that
God.
wouldn't be are.
And nowadays, the miniature market's out and CGI is in.
Yeah. All
Well,
CGI.
yeah, CGI is in, but as you know through fandom,
Yeah,
you know, practical effects are being heralded as being the only true one.
they're amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, they
practical
are.
effects
They're
are just amazing. I mean, you could do CGI, but that's a cheat. It's a cheat.
And actually
CGI,
now,
yeah.
technology would make even better products for the practical effects. I don't know why you wouldn't continue with that. It really, just amazing.
Yeah,
some
the
of
old
stuff.
models and everything. Like Battlestar Galactica did all the models, and I mean, the models were, that was an art in itself.
Sure. Well, I have a couple of pictures that I don't know if I sent them to you. The basement scene in the Thing, the where the floorboards get broken up as the Thing crashes through the.
Nope, I don't have
chases.
those. No.
Okay. I thought I saw one of those earlier. Anyway, two of them.
Unless I missed it.
I took these pictures because they were tunnels that went back.
Is that it? This might
in
be
the
it,
set.
right? Is this it?
No,
That's not it? Okay.
no. I'm fiberglassing a boat. Jaws 2 there.
Wow.
Getting sun on me from somewhere here. So anyway, where was I going with that? Anyway, these two pictures, yeah, they're what they're called is force perspective, and what they did is they built these tunnels on the set that went back. They look like they go back, 100 yards, and what the force perspective is they hard in the sides and they bring up the floor and bring down the ceiling. And they do that periodically. So they're forcing the perspective down, and it gives you the perception that it's going back for a long distance.
Okay.
And they even down to making the props, like there were the oil barrels, but every time you'd see another oil barrel, it would go down.
Kind of like
in
Alice
size
in
and
Wonderland
scale.
kind of thing.
Yeah. And even to the gauge of the wire that goes from the light to the light, the gauge gets smaller and smaller. It goes back to each light, right? All this stuff, I mean, that had to have taken at least a month to make all the props and everything look just right for that tunnel. Never seen on screen. Never.
Oh no!
Oh wow.
Never seen on screen. The detail that went into both of those tunnels were never ever lit. Those, if you look at those scenes, it's so dark in that you can barely see what is right in front of you, rather than the side tunnels and the pickaxes as they get smaller and going back down. It's incredible. That kind of stuff happens all the time. The Incredible Shrinking Woman on stage 12. We built a 35-foot tall section of gorilla shoulder.
Oh boy.
His shoulder from here to his neck, and that's all it was. It's structural steel. Oh my God, 3.5 weeks of welding. Put this thing together. It's got a giant ram in it that's run by hydraulic, the water-soluble oil. And so it can lift the shoulder up and move it around. And the neck, as the neck turns, the bands up at the top turn faster than the bands at the bottom, because that's the way a neck naturally turns, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all this detail.
Wow.
We cover the whole shoulder in fiberglass roving and paint it brown. And fiberglass roving is nasty stuff. If you've ever used it before, it's just awful fiberglass.
It hose off after that.
Wow.
So then they put a collar around it, because the gorilla has a collar on, and Lily climbs under the collar to ride on the gorilla shoulder when she's shrunken down to this size. Okay, that's all that work for a 12, 15-man crew. All that work.
Jeez.
Maybe 30 seconds of screen time. Maybe. To just close up on Lily riding on the shoulder. For just a heartbeat.
Wow.
But that's the art.
That's the art, for sure. That's the movie magic.
Movie
and that's
magic.
where the cost comes in.
That's where the cost comes in, of course. Sure. Yeah.
Paying overtime to you.
Gigantic, yeah. I love to tell the stories of the things that went wrong, because nobody else does.
Hey, these are kind of funny too.
Oh, that's how you learn. I mean, that's why we watch NASCAR races. We want to see them wreck, so we know what goes wrong. So,
Vaughn, again, thank you so much for taking the time out. Really appreciate it. And you're always welcome. Open door here. Please keep us in the loop. We had a lot of fun reminiscing and catching up with everything you've been doing and the things that, hopefully other successes with other projects and the like. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We had a blast.
Thank you, Chris.
So like I said, we definitely want to keep up with you, whatever you got going. And if you think that we can help you get the word out on, the documentary, please let us know.
Yeah,
we would love to have you come back. As a matter of fact, the whole the 40th anniversary of the thing and all, right? If there's something that you want us to help promote, you please just give us a heads up.
Yeah, let us know. We'll put it up on our page and let people know that you're going to be appearing places or something like that. That'd be great.
Oh yeah, or if it's any, if it's open, the fans love all the stuff. We're big sci-fi guys. So thank you. All the best.
My pleasure. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You sound like, and like we say a lot, it's a lot of people that are behind the scenes. There's the more important people, the people who there's people who write the stories, the people who create the planets or the locations or the storyline, the worlds they're it's so great. The actors just act in those worlds, but the people behind the scenes, the special effects artists, the grips, the dollies, the people who run the wires and everything else, they make it happen. So it's good to hear some people in the stories from people that are behind the scenes on these things, because it's, you always learn something new. You always learn something that's fun, and you don't get to hear those from the actors. The actor said, yeah, I went on there, I acted, and I left.
Yeah.
It's a different perspective, that's for sure.
So
and it is
so
fandom,
much.
and fandom is awesome.
Yep. Thank you so much for coming on.
Fandom. Oh, I have to mention one thing.
Sure.
My son is a brewmeister.
Oh, yeah?
Whoa!
Yeah, there's a place right up the street called McLeod's, MACLEODS, and they are great. They make wonderful beers. My son just made his own. He made something called Ambrosia Doza, and you mentioned Ambrosia. Yes, I swear to God, it's a sour ale, and it went over huge. They loved it. They did it. They did a sample batch, and they liked it so much they made a big batch, and it sold out. People loved it. So
Yeah,
we'll
Ambrosia
check
was the
that
big
out.
drink on Battlestar Galactica, so that's
Oh,
cool.
We're gonna have to check that out. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, we always
definitely.
do a beer every, and we don't, we're not sponsored by any beer companies or anything, so we always do a
Right.
beer per episode. So that'd be cool if we get a hold
That's
something from there. That'd be great.
Yeah, just check it out. Yeah, they're online. You'll be able to track them down.
Cool.
And
All
it's
right,
Scottish
fantastic.
theme. So, but anyway, yeah, that was very cool when I saw you drinking that. I think my son has brought one of those home.
Oh, yeah?
He loves that espresso. Yeah, he
Yeah,
loves that
the
stuff.
obsidian. Ooh,
Yeah.
it's definitely got espresso in it. I can tell you that much. Counteract the alcohol,
All right.
I'm sure. I'm not so sure, but
Yeah,
we'll find out.
exactly. push pull.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, you're gonna run into each
Here's
other.
to you.
Thank you so
Thank
much. You take care of
Cheers
yourself,
to you,
sir.
gentlemen.
We
All
look
right.
forward to hearing
It was
from you
a
again.
real pleasure. Thanks a lot. Had fun.
All right. Wow. So cool, man. That was a lot of fun. And
Oh my
everybody else
gosh.
everybody was online with us. There's Fran and Jeff and Brigitte and George. George Giacomisio, he popped on. George in the house. Better late than never. Absolutely, buddy. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you catch the rest of the interview on rerun, like Sean Shallow from Battlestar Bulletin Board says he will. Mediocre Modeler, everybody on here, I think, had a great time with this. What an awesome person, right? I mean,
I loved hearing some of the stories. I'm like, he's
Yeah,
still
man,
alive.
it's so cool.
I'm shocked he's still alive.
yeah, no kidding.
You
I'm like,
start talking about gasoline and running around with
I was like, what
with a
the-
match inside of a building, and oh my gosh.
Just, oh man, great stories. Hey, Chris, did you get a little excited when he said he actually vacuum formed and molded the Cylons? Huh?
I'd love to have been there. Like, just put one of those over there.
Leave it right inside the other
Leave
side
it
of
over
the
there.
door, right? Yeah.
Couple of those.
Wow. Very cool, man. All the movies. I mean,
Yep.
talk about Buck Rogers, Jaws 2, La Bamba, jazz. Talk about jazz and all the good stuff, man. Unbelievable. And the music and, music videos and all the other cool stuff, man.
Oh yeah.
Very, very cool. Great. One of the
much.
Oh, absolutely, Vaughn. We had a really good time with this. Taking his time out. Guy's Hollywood guy, and coming, chewing the fat with us. Love it. Fans love it. Explosive stuff. That's right, Paul. Oh man, yeah. And Brigitte, thank you for joining us from Austria. She's staying up really, really late.
Really,
She's
really
like,
late. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
no
like at
kidding.
least an 8-hour
Great.
difference. So, thanks for coming on and being with us. I mean, everybody. We haven't heard from, Eric Padden, professor, hasn't been on in a while, came on. Lee Jacobson, get better, man. He's tuning in. He says, unfortunately, he's in the hospital. Lee, get better, man. Thanks for tuning in. And, of course, everybody else, that tunes in afterwards. We are blessed that we have thousands of followers all over the world that tune in. We thank you guys for joining us. Right, we had a great guest, right, Vaughn Babasin, who's involved in every part of movie making from back in the day, and including a lot of the great stuff that we all talk about and all the stuff that we love, sci-fi, fantasy, some horror, The Thing and all that. Hopefully he's going to keep us in the loop because there's, anniversary, so there's things coming on. So we're looking forward to, hopefully hearing more and keeping in touch. As a matter of fact, having him back. Right, who knows? We'll, maybe later in the year we'll.
It'd be fun to do like a
Yeah.
Jaws trivia night or something and have him on there too.
Oh heck yeah! Right, that'd be very cool.
We didn't even touch base. My grandfather was an Academy Award nominated film editor. And
That's right.
He did the Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. He did.
Yes.
Yeah.
right.
He did Francis the
Right.
Talking Mule. Well,
Oh
he
my
did
gosh.
My Man Godfrey, which is really legendary. My
Yes.
Man Godfrey is like
Yes.
Academy Award nominated from 1936. But
Yeah.
God, he did Rock Hudson movies. He did Doris Day
Right.
movies. He did all the Mon Pa Kettle movies. He did the Egg and
Oh,
I
Mon
with
Pa
Fred
Kettle.
McMurray and Mon Pa Kettle. Percy
Yes,
Kilbride and Marjorie Main.
you
We could talk about just my grandfather.
Yes, that's right. I kind of like, we got so involved with the other things, but you definitely have the, the pedigree. You have, your family's big time into, from the music to the, Abbott and Costello meets the Mummy, man. That's one heck. That's a whole show right there, man.
Oh yeah,
those are really good. Oh my God. So
and then,
classic horror.
And then the thing is
Yeah,
if you don't copy, or if you don't record, or you don't come on to a show like this, or you don't come on to something and talk about those stories, the only people that are going to know those stories are going to be you. And when
right.
and all of us have a shelf life, and when your shelf life is up, the stories die.
Yeah, we
So
don't want that.
it's important to kind of reach out. We always try to reach out and get people to come on the show, and sometimes they're like, I'm not interested. I said, but this is a chance to, face it. The internet goes on forever. You get caught doing one thing wrong, it's on the internet. It's going to be there forever. But the other part, the positive part of that is the stories, the information that could be stored on the internet, or that could be stored somewhere, be recorded somehow. When you're long gone and somebody's searching the internet and they come across, the name or whatever else, and they go, oh, this is what happened. It's important to have that information available. Whereas in the past it was only in a book, or whatever else. Nowadays we have social media, we have video, we have broadcasts like ourselves. We have those capabilities of documenting that information. As a matter of fact, if you can't get,
awesome.
Just as a matter of fact, if you can't get a movie deal or a documentary deal, then something you might want to consider is just starting a broadcast up, talking about, the jazz in that area, and just have, do podcasts or do broadcasts like we do. And you've got enough information for years worth of, half hour episodes, just talking about, hey, this episode, we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk. I mean, that may be your only outlet if you can't get somebody to pick up the video.
Well, I have to tell you, I did a half-hour TV show on Adelphia Cable Access.
Yeah,
Aurora, Illinois.
That's it. That's more.
But it was Jazz in Hollywood, and I didn't really have much of an audience. And but you're right. Now technology has moved vastly past that. That was,
Oh yeah. Yep.
I mean, Adelphia, that was over like 15 years ago when I was doing that. So
yeah, I mean, and even if you don't have an audience, it's putting that information somewhere, so when somebody does ask the question years from now and they have an interest in it, they have the ability to find it and find that information. Right. I think that's really important to document things. I mean, I think it was I just got back from a visit with the Navajo police department in Arizona, and that was one of the things they were talking about is like a lot of the Navajo older people are dying off. They're getting, their shelf life is up, and the stories that they have, even the fables and those kind of things that were told to them are dying off. They're losing they're losing their language. They're losing their tradition, their culture. They've started a project where they actually start recording more of their older personnel. They go out and talk to more people and get those stories on film. And I mean, that's something that like the jazz here. This is something that probably could be. I mean, if you can't get it on film, then you ought to try putting it on another medium and getting the information out there. At least having it put into one location, and even if and even if you can't play the songs. Like us, we love our Battlestar Galactica, but we really technically can't play Battlestar Galactica here. Right. You can at least talk about it and show pictures.
Well, I do have these two iMacs, and they're full of my dad.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they're digitized. They have gotten to that, and they're backed up by 3 terabyte external hard drives. Yeah. So I've got a good portion of this done, and I've been telling the story for 20 years. You
Yeah.
know,
That's
Time
incredible.
to create a bot, you know, get some like-minded individuals and get a following and start that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. If you want help on that, let us know. We'll help you out.
Okay. Great. Awesome. Thanks.
Absolutely. We're in. We're in.
Bitchin'.
All right. Well, we're coming up on 2 hours, so it's about that
Right.
time.
Well, yeah, sure. I didn't know if we
what
were
do you got?
still
Pete?
on
There you are, Pete. Okay.
show or not.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm on.
Okay.
I'm answering some of our
Fan mail?
Yeah, a little bit of Lola's and Fran's, and I'm waiting for a response from Fran and Paul. I mean, all the guys, all the usual suspects, and then some are on. Really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We had a heck of a show, man. We had Von Babasin talking about all the great stuff he's been working on. We really appreciate it. Very cool dude. I mean, what is there to say? Just watch it. Go back and watch it. If you
Go
haven't,
back and watch it again if you
didn't
haven't had a
catch it.
chance.
Get
Yep.
back, yeah. And everybody else that watches us in syndication and rerun around the world, to all Brazilians and the Filipinos and, you know, in Vietnam and everywhere else, guys, thank you so much for supporting. Just remember that if you want to reach us, it's info@interfleetbroadcasting.com. And don't forget to give us the likes, right? We need those likes.
Those
don't
thumbs
forget
up,
to,
those likes, those
thumbs
whatever
up.
you want to
Yeah,
call them.
we yep, that's right. So we got cons coming up, conventions coming up. We'll be at cons. We'll be covering that. So guys, please don't forget to show us a little bit of support on YouTube as well, right? So our main platform, of course, is Facebook, and we thank everybody for watching. But remember, we're also on YouTube. We got the Twitter. We do a little bit of Twitch as well. And, you know, looking forward to the next show. So bring your friends, tell everybody we're here for you. Be, you know, fans like yourself. Thank you very much. Chris, it's that time, man.
Yeah, it's that time. So once again, we really appreciate you all being here. And once again, we always say fans fuel the fleet. No matter what fandom, if it's jazz, for instance, or if it's science fiction, or if it's whatever it may be, a fan drives the Hollywood people to do what they do. A fan drives the historical piece of this, so people remember. A fan drives other fans to get involved. So fans fuel the fleet. Thank you so much, Vaughn. You're awesome. Thank you so much for being on.
Thanks, Chris.
And this is to all our fans and to Vaughn. We really appreciate it. Y'all take care. We will see you next week.
Be awesome, everybody. Take care.
Thanks.
I got to start the video. There we go. There it is.
Right. Gentlemen.